You know what I've noticed? I've noticed that artists who compare themselves the least are the ones that create the most. And the artists who scroll through Instagram for inspiration, they're often the ones who can't start to paint at all. So if you've ever started a painting and then spent like 20 minutes on your phone looking at other people's work, only to feel really heavy, like your paintings aren't good enough at all, then this one is for you. So I'm going to be totally honest with you because there was a time when comparison almost made me quit painting altogether. I'd see these incredible abstract artists online and their work was like really beautiful. It was bold and confident and it was probably selling for thousands. And then I'd look at my own paintings and think, oh my God, what am I even doing? And you know what? It's not that long ago that I even thought, who am I to be teaching this? I remember one specific afternoon that I had just finished a painting that I actually loved. I mean, I felt something when I looked at this painting. It was something that I was really proud of. And then I made the mistake of opening Instagram. Within 5 minutes, I saw these 3 artists whose work was just beautiful. And it was better. At least that's what my brain told me. Their colors were more sophisticated. Their compositions were stronger. And, it just made me feel like the joy just drained right out of me. So I went back to my painting and suddenly I could see all the flaws. There was only mistakes. There were places that didn't measure up and I didn't paint for 3 days after that. Think about that. 3 days. That, for me is crazy. And here's the thing. It wasn't even about those artists. Those artists were just doing their work. The problem was what I was doing to myself. I was using their art as proof that mine wasn't good enough, that I wasn't enough. I realized comparison wasn't helping me grow. It was actually just keeping me small, holding me back. So let me tell you what I've learned about comparison and why it's so damaging to your creativity. All right, so let me tell you what I've learned about comparison and why it's so damaging to your creativity. First of all, comparison is never fair because you're comparing your process to someone else's result, right? You see their finished, polished painting. You don't see the 12 versions that they scraped off before they found one that worked. You don't see the years of practice or the failures that they've made. You don't see the messy middle or how they had to push through that. You're comparing your rough draft to their final chapter, and that's not fair at all. That's not a fair fight. Second of all, comparison makes you a follower instead of a creator. Because when you're constantly looking at what everybody else is doing, you're starting unconsciously copying, right? You lose touch with what you want to say. Your voice gets quieter and quieter until you can barely hear it anymore. And here's what's heartbreaking. Your audience, your collectors, and the people who love your work, they're not looking for a copy of somebody else's work. They're looking for you. They're looking for you because they connect with you. Number 3, comparison robs you of the only thing that actually matters, and that's showing up in your studio. The artists who succeed aren't the ones with the most talent. They're the ones who keep on going, the ones who keep painting, the ones who show up even when it feels hard, who trust their voice even when it feels small. But if you're spending your energy comparing yourself, you're not creating. You're just stuck in a loop that doesn't serve you at all. I know this struggle so well, and so do most of my students. They come to me after years of taking courses, following other teachers, trying to figure out why their work doesn't look like everybody else's. And you know what I tell them? Your work isn't supposed to look like everyone else's. That's not a flaw. That's the whole point. So this is what I want to offer you today. For the next week, try this. So before you open the door to your studio or to your art room or wherever it is you paint, before you pick up a brush, don't look at anyone else's work. No Instagram, no Pinterest, no scrolling, just you, your canvas, maybe some music, and whatever it is that wants to come through. I'm not saying never look at other artists again because, inspiration is real. But I am saying notice when you're using other people's art as a weapon against yourself. And if you catch yourself, in the middle of a scroll thinking, oh, I wish I could paint like that, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what do I actually want to say with my own work? And what is this artist saying with her work or his work? Because when you start noticing that, you might actually even discover what feels right for you right here, right now. Because that's where your creativity lives. It's not in someone else's feed, it's in your own truth. Listen, I know how hard this is. I know how seductive that comparison trap can be. But, you don't need to be anyone else. You just need to be more like you. Trust what's trying to emerge. Show up, paint messy, paint badly if you have to, but paint. Because the world doesn't need another version of someone else's art. It needs yours. All right. And if you need a little support to reconnect with your own creative voice, no pressure at all, just a little guidance, I have a PDF for you. It's called the Clarity Checklist, and it's designed to help you get unstuck and start painting from your truth again. All right, I'll leave the link in the description. But for now, close this video, close the Instagram, and go make something that feels like you. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.